Hello, Janice.
Hello, Anthony.
Fun one today. How to disinherit a child.
Super.
Yeah, if you don't laugh, what can you do?
It is what it is.
So again, this is an example from one of our clients. As always, we anonymize to protect their privacy. One of my clients, Robin, is looking to update her will. She is a solo ager, but in a unique way. She's unmarried. I think she's divorced. And she's older, but she does have two biological daughters. The problem is one lives abroad, and and one is sort of not the good daughter right now. has been sort of neglectful, and the relationship has really strained. So although she has two children, again, one lives effectively, too far away to really be part of any estate plan, and the other is wayward.
Yes.
So she and I were talking about how to update her will to reflect her new wishes that she doesn't want her not so good daughter to receive anymore. Okay. So first, let's talk about how do you disinherit somebody in a will. You could simply just omit them. If you have two daughters, just leave out one. And some people do that. There's pros and cons to that. Other people like to have a specific explanation in their will, or why they omitted somebody. So they'll omit. Let's call her. Oh gosh, I hate to do this, but let's call her the bad daughter, and they'll explain why they omitted the bad daughter. And it'll say, it is my preference, or they might say, I've already given generously to that daughter throughout our life, right? Or they might say that, my daughter and I has not treated me well. And that's the reason why I'm omitting her from my will. So
Adds a little extra insult to injury. The will is read of.
Have you seen?
Did
both?
I leave you out?
Yeah,
I have seen both. Yes, I've seen a lot of the one that you just said, where I've given a lot over the lifetime.
Yep.
So everything should go to the other one. I've seen that lots of times.
That seems fair in terms of,
because you tend to have some siblings that get a little more cared for during life, and
that's not to say that if you go that route, you need to sort of rationalize or over-explain yourself. This is not some sort of like justification to a judge, but just explain it. Look, this was not a mistake. I did this on purpose.
If I'm not mistaken, it's definitely better to just, instead of omitting, which could be an accident, right?
Yeah.
Then you're actually putting the information in there. I'm doing this on purpose.
Exactly. So there's another way of going about it, or another feature that is called an interim clause. I always get that. I always mumble that when I do.
You say it really fast.
Interim clause.
It'll
be written out in the blog, in the description.
Yes.
So what this says is, it's a type of clause that says, all right, so anyone, let me rewind a little bit. Whenever you go to probate and you're probating a will in probate court, anyone who would have received in the absence of the will, under the default inheritance laws, they have a right to object because this will cuts them out, essentially. So that's how we have an adversarial system for wills. So in Robin's case, if she didn't have a will, her estate would be divided equally between her two biological daughters. That's right. That's her default settings for her particular family plan. But because her will cuts out bad daughter, that daughter has a right to object and to do a will contest and cause problems, litigate. So what an interim clause says is, if you object, then you get nothing. Okay.
But wait.
Right. But wait. It kind of doesn't make sense. So let me explain. That usually has more teeth if you've only changed the percentages, right? So if by default each daughter gets an equal half, but Robin made it so the overseas daughter gets 75%, and the other daughter only gets 25%. The interim basically says if you object to this imbalanced distribution, then you get nothing at all, right? So that has some teeth to it. Yeah, that has some teeth to it. There's a risk.
Yep.
Yeah.
A big risk, a 25% risk for absolutely.
But if you're already getting nothing, then that daughter has nothing to lose. They might as well object and go for it. Does that make sense?
Right. It absolutely does, because again, what do you have to lose?
What's the downside, right? Other than, your attorney fees and the fight.
Yeah, sure.
So if you're going to go that route, there's an argument that you need to leave that person something, a small but non-trivial amount, to dissuade them from objecting. It can't be $10 because nobody's going to say, "Oh, I'm not going to risk $10 to not
Right,
object.
$10,
I'm going to just
right.
fight." Maybe it depends on the person's situation. Maybe $1,000 is enough to dissuade them. Maybe 10,000, right? Maybe it needs to be 50,000. It depends on the scale and scope of the estate and everyone's personal situation. But that creates another sort of catch-22. If Robin just straight up doesn't want to give this daughter anything, they're not going to feel great giving them $10,000 sort of as advanced extortion.
Right. It is. It's like, advanced extortion.
So, I mean, I'm not here to say that it's a good way that the system works. I'm just here to explain how you need to look at the playing field, basically, and navigate it one way or the other. All right. So, lastly, let's talk about how we solved for this in Robin's situation. And our solution was setting up a trust for the grandchildren. So, I think this is a pretty elegant solution because it kind of keeps everyone kind of happy. And I've done this not only for Robin, but for many estates. It's a good solution for this type of deal where you're looking to disinherit a child, but because of the rules that I explained, you're not exactly sure how to do it. So number one, for Robin, it keeps it in the family, which is great, right? I mean, her goal isn't to disinherit her family. She's just not happy with that one daughter. So what she's doing is she's going to give to her daughters' children and skip the generation of her daughters. Does that make sense? It
does, yes.
And in that way, grandkids are cuter than kids, right? Adult
Absolutely.
children. So that feels nice too. And it feels like you're seeding the future. There's a lot more hope with young grandchildren versus your adult children who made their poor decisions and whatnot.
Right. At least you can help them out, get started a little better, maybe. Yeah.
So it keeps in the family. You're sort of helping the younger generation, and from the the technical how do you from the perspective of how to disinherit somebody, the daughter who's getting disinherited, she's going to be a lot less likely to object since it's going to her kids anyway, right? Unless she's estranged from her kids too. That's a real loser. Doesn't talk to her mom or her kids.
Right.
Sorry.
Then that's a whole other problem. Right.
But yeah, assuming she's raising her young children, then it's not a guarantee, but it's much less likely that she's going to object to this format or this plan since it benefits her lineage anyway. Yeah.
It sounds like a completely reasonable plan for the grandchildren, and probably keeps everybody happier, right? Like you said, you're not completely cutting out everyone. You're keeping it in the family. It's going to their kids, which
that's an excellent point, because another thing is you don't want to create, if she did the other way, and if Robin disinherited one daughter and left everything to her daughter overseas, not only is she making, sending her message or whatever, but then she's going to create a rift between her two daughters.
Yes.
That maybe didn't exist before, and that's just kind of not necessary.
Right. So I like the way you said it, though. This was an elegant solution to this problem that makes everyone happy.
And Robin is fine with this. She is good with this solution because it solves what she wants to do, which is she doesn't want to just blow up the whole family, but she just wants to make sure that she hasn't been cared. She hasn't had a good relationship with that daughter, and she doesn't want to give her anything. But this accomplishes that without causing unnecessary animosity.
I think it sounds like a great plan. And what I'm also hearing from this is definitely something, not a DIY situation. You guys came up with this plan after you talked about it, right?
For sure.
And you figured out a plan based on your experience. So this is definitely a situation to talk to somebody about.
Absolutely. And one last thing is that, and I don't want to get too deep into this because we should wrap this up, but by doing it this way, Robin is also creating trusts for her grandkids, not just giving it to them outright. And there's just huge benefits so that those grandkids, when they grow up, if they have any tax problems, if they, get married and divorced, which, happens, that money will always be there for them. It is super, super strong protection. It's called asset protection. It's a really, really gift on top of a gift for her grandchildren.
Yes, like the gift that keeps on giving,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Over time. So very interesting. If you want a copy of Anthony's book, The Solo Ager Estate Plan, if you're in this position, like you were saying with the solo aging, please click on the link in the description.
Yeah, just fill out the form. We'll be happy to send you a
easy.
free copy.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it, Janice. Thank you, as always, for talking this through with us. And thanks, everyone, for listening.
Talk soon.
Take care now.